for coming. So I'm going to share to you our experience of doing an Erasmus Plus, another strand of the Erasmus Plus. So I'm Dr. Sheilla Balbutin. I'm the Director of the Office of International Cooperation and Networking of Xavier University-Ateneo de Cagayan in Cagayan de Oro City. I'm actually wearing many hats because I'm also an alumna of Erasmus Mundus. So if you've been to the EU booth, I've been talking there, answering questions about how to get scholarships, tips, and such. And I'm going to say that my journey with Erasmus Mundus has gone full circle because I started as a student for the master's program, and then because I'm a professor, after master's, I came back. And then I have established my network across Europe during that time. And then I did my PhD also in Europe, in Italy to be exact. And 3 years ago, I came back, just before COVID changed everything. Right now, again, as I've mentioned, I'm leading our international office. These projects that I will share with you were not really established under my directorship, because when I started at the office, they were already running. No, so I just kind of inherited the project. So I will do my best to answer your questions if you have. No. So Erasmus Plus, I hope you know it already. It's a big, it's the umbrella program of the European Commission and the European Union. No? Under it is we have the Erasmus Mundus, the very popular scholarship program, which I got from my master's. And then there is the CBHE, that's the capacity building for higher education. So that will be my focus in this presentation. So for Xavier's experience, at least, the most involved, no, for me at least, in the 4 projects I'll share with you is this one. It's the Antenna project. It's the internationalization of higher education in the Philippines. This started in 2018, even before I came back, no, from my studies. And the goal of this project is to capacitate all international relations officers in 10 higher education institutions in the Philippines. Fortunately, my university was maybe chosen in a way. What happened was that, according to my colleague who was involved before me, someone reached out to her because apparently she saw her name in a research conference because she presented something about international education. And so someone emailed her and asked her if would you be interested to be part of this project that we're coming up with. So she said, yes, we're interested. So that's how the story started. So 2018, actually we are about to end the project. We're doing our final conference next week at De La Salle University in Taft. And since 2020, when I started my work, I'm a pandemic appointee. I was appointed 2020, so I took over the leadership of the office and also started working as an assistant project leader of this project for Xavier. So we've been trained on how to establish partnerships or strengthen partnerships, how to manage finances in the office, or if there are funding that we funds that we get, how to plan. So I think the highlight of my stay at least was that my involvement is how to do strategic planning for the international office. So just last week we did our replication workshops for 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and my task was on Tuesday. I partnered with the University of San Carlos in Cebu. So 10 universities for now, but there's going to be a part 2 of the Antenna project, but no more with Xavier because we're one of the pioneering universities. So they're going to involve more universities in the future. But we have put up now the Philippine Internationalization Network, or the PhilInNet, where we will invite more universities to be part of this network. Okay, that's Antenna project. The second one is, it's called the Informal Evolution. This also started in 2018. Actually, I found out that this is indeed an Erasmus Plus project, because if you go through if you are an existing partner of the European Commission, there's an online database where you will be able to search your university if you have a project with the EC or the Erasmus Plus, and then you have a designated number. I forgot what its name, but it's PC. So then you put in there, and then it will give you the results of how many projects are you doing with Erasmus Plus or with the European Commission. So this is a project. Just last month, they were in Xavier, our international partners. They did a series of workshops with our faculty and our students, a very mixed group, but mostly from the International Relations Department. So the goal of this project is to combine, to infuse non-formal education techniques to the formal education setting. So it's very, very interesting because, you do workshops, you do training modes in the classroom. So it's mixing all those methods to make sure that learning takes place. So that's informal evolution. The good news is that they're going to apply for stage 2. Hopefully they'll get funding for another maybe 2 or 3 years. And luckily, Xavier will still be part of it. So that's informal evolution. The next project is GECO. This project is capacity building for engineering students. No, the coordinating university of this is the University of Montpellier in France. So they've had trainings for our engineering students. So it has a UP, La Salle, I think an Ateneo, for the Philippines, and then Thailand and Indonesia, if I'm not mistaken. So this ended last year, and another good news is that they're going to apply for part 2. So it's already in the works now. They have submitted it, I think, the new proposal, and we're really hoping that it will be accepted for part 2. So that's for the engineering. And lastly, we have this GUDRR, also lodged in the College of Engineering, because the goal of this project is to capacitate these institutions which offer engineering programs, which will eventually offer a master's in geoinformatics for disaster risk and reduction. So the coordinating university is in Poland, Silesian University Technology. And it started actually when I also started in the office. No? It was submitted in 2019. 2018, it got accepted in 2019, late 2019, and started officially in 2020. So we're now, I think, on the second year, and they have requested for additional 1 year because of the pandemic. And we are supposed to offer the program, I think, next year, if CHED will hopefully approve, because you know how it is here. We need the CHED's approval to offer a new course. But really the goal here is to capacitate the faculty members and the professors of engineering programs of member universities. So we have a partner university, University of the Cordilleras in the Philippines. So 2 universities here, and then 2 universities in Cambodia, and 2 universities in Malaysia. Just last July, we were in Phnom Penh in Cambodia for our educational workshop or training. So my role in this is administrative support, because I'm not an engineering faculty, but because I'm involved in the administrative part of it, I help the project leader and all the other staff who are involved in the project. So those are our current projects under Erasmus Plus. It's been very good, of course, because it somehow increases the capacities of our professors, our students, and it also strengthens our networking and linkaging with these universities in Southeast Asia and Europe. So if you have questions, my email is there. I'll do my best to give you answers. Thank you very much. I'll give the floor to Ms. Sheryl Urdaneta. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sheilla. Perhaps we'd like to pause here for questions. If you have questions for Dr. Sheilla, or maybe later. All right. Sige. All right. Okay, good evening. My name is Sheryl Urdaneta. I am the head for the Center for Linkages, Internationalization, and Language Studies, concurrent head of the Institute of ASEAN European Studies at the Holy Cross of Davao College. So, I would like to, before I begin, I would like to thank Dr. Tita Thelma Gekulea for inviting me to share about our very young Erasmus Plus journey at the Holy Cross of Davao College. All right, I've got a couple of pictures here, sort of telling our story at, sorry, give me a minute. There you go. So, Middle of this year, we launched the Institute of ASEAN European Studies. But prior to that, we were already sowing the seeds for our Erasmus Plus program engagement. So we got in touch with one of the many HEIs in Europe. The Lithuanian Maritime Academy was one of them. And it started with a very casual conversation, and you might probably ask, how did I come across Erasmus Plus? So I was a product of the ASEM process. I was a student at the Asia Europe Institute of University Malaya, and I did my internship with UNU Chris in Belgium. And so that's how I came across Erasmus Plus, and that's how I got familiar with the different programs, academic programs available at the EU. So when we got started, we have a very young internationalization program at the Holy Cross of Davao College. I sort of relied with my, information, stock information that I have. And so I reached out to the Lithuanian Maritime Academy, our institutional partner, and we started talking. It was nothing serious at the beginning. But when I told the partner HEI institution at the EU that I wanted to explore doing an Erasmus Plus program with them, student and faculty mobility program, they were very excited to learn that there's this interest in doing this program with LMA. Just to share a bit of background, what's interesting about our experience is that there is not a lot of Erasmus Plus program for maritime education. And so for those of you who are students or faculty members at, from the maritime program, yes, please know that there's this Erasmus Plus program that you could avail. And so we have a very small population for our College of Maritime Education, 431. We signed an interinstitutional agreement with the Lithuanian Maritime Academy, and then we had a couple of activities with them. One of which is that we had this maritime, the Blue Line of Maritime Business Research Conference, and it was attended by a lot of our students. And we have successfully selected our first participant for the preparatory part of the Erasmus program. And we are planning our first trip to Lithuania by middle of January next year. So we got a grant that will run for 5 years. And so we really think that we will be able to do a lot of this mobility thing. All right. So, well, I would like to share a couple of things that were helpful for us in the hope that, these things might prove helpful for you. So first there, do your research. A lot of our questions are actually easily, you could easily find the answers to most of the questions online. The EU is very fond of, facts and answer sheets. They're online, so you do your research. Find what's compatible for the program that you're looking at. If you type in Maritime Academies, Maritime Education, in the EU, you will be given a lot of, list, a lot of schools that's doing this program. Second, be strategic and intentional. This is at least our approach at the Holy Cross of Davao College. We weren't after the numbers of agreements or MOUs, but we were actually very mindful about the types of relationships that we enter into. And so when we were looking for partners, it wasn't just anybody or any of the institutions, but we targeted good institutions. Give the partner the opportunity to actually speak about their desires. So most of the time, we tend to come into the negotiation table and speak a lot about our expectations, our desires, without really paying attention to what the partner actually wants. So I guess it would really help, to come into the negotiation table and, be ready to listen. Because when I started talking about the usual webinars and seminars and trainings, the answer from the other party was like, all right, we will be happy to do a mobility program with you. And that made things a lot easier for me, actually. Third, open lines for communication. So I guess to be consistent in terms of communicating with a partner is very important. If you don't answer back, if you don't reply fast, I think that sort of create a cold atmosphere in the relationship, and then of course we know what will happen. The partner will likely lose interest. So keep the communication lines open, be proactive. And then I guess the next important point here is familiarize yourself with the program. What we did initially is that we read a lot regarding the Erasmus Plus program. There's the implementation guidelines, the facts and everything. As an Erasmus Plus coordinator, it was my job to be very familiar about the program. So I guess it would also help even the students if they understand how things work with the program. Don't be afraid to take the initiative. So it is a partnership. It is not a one-sided relationship. So, we are not only as a partner country, as a partner institution from a partner country, we are not only at the receiving end of the partnership. We can do a lot for the partnership. So I guess these are the major points that I wanted to share. And if you have questions for me, just ask away. And again, my name is Sheryl Urdaneta. I am from the Holy Cross of Davao College, and I would like to thank EHEF for this opportunity. Thank you. So I guess we're down to Q&A if you have questions. For me and for Dr. Sheilla. Do we have questions from our online participants on-site? All right, if there's none, thank you very much, Mayang Gabi, and we wish you, it's a Saturday, right? A happy weekend. Yes.
And that wraps up our country presentations, webinars, and sessions here at Cinema 3. Thank you everyone for attending our presentations here. We have one question here.
Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Almira Menson, the Director for International Affairs from Mindanao State University. I would like to ask Ma'am how to apply to become part of the partner institution of EHEF. Or the Erasmus, rather.
I see. So I'm gonna share based on my experience. So what we did was first find a partner institution, HEI in Europe. So that was the first step. And when we got down to talking about the details about the partnership, then we floated the idea of doing an Erasmus Plus mobility program. And so it was the job of the partner institution in the EU to actually what's the right term for that? Got us into this application, because there's this application cycle every year. So the first step probably would be to find a partner institution at the EU.
It would help if you do like a survey of sorts, like among your faculty members, if they have contacts in Europe, those who have studied in Europe or who have had like short course or things like that. Usually, I mean, for most Xavier, at least for Xavier experience, it was kind of like, as I have shared earlier, somebody found my colleagues' names in the list of conference presenters. And so she thought that maybe we could work with this person. And then she kind of also checked out our website and saw if, what this university is all about, what are the programs, So it starts from there, and then you initiate this sending of emails back and forth. And then, as what Ma'am Sheryl said, it's actually a very complex process. It's not easy to go through it. The EC, for one, has a very strict procedure. You have forms to fill up, you have to assign people, tell people, ask people to be part of the project and commit to the project because it would require time. Like, like attend, not it, with the fun side is you have to go to these countries abroad, no? But there are deliverables. Now, how this works is that they have work packages, work package 1, 2, 3, and whatever is the number, and then you will be assigned a particular work package which will contribute to the bigger accomplishment of the project. So if you're assigned, for example, work package 1 is for the GODRR project, we did work package 1. We did the stakeholders analysis because we wanted to find out if there will be a market for this masters in GODRR, right? So we need to check if there would be interested people who will enroll. That's also what the other member universities did in Indonesia, no, in Malaysia and in Cambodia. We need to make sure that there is a market. And then we found out that there is indeed a market after the stakeholder analysis. So we developed I did the questionnaire part. I developed it and then I shared it with our partner universities in Malaysia and in Cambodia. So it's like that, no? And it also, if you commit to it, you need to commit like 2 or 3 years through the project until it's finished, and you need to assign the project leader. Of course, there's like some compensation there. You need to also agree, for us, for example, we were given individual contracts because it is, apart from earning the salaries from the university, it's like a special compensation. So that is also something that you need to consider apart from commitment, and there's an incentive, of course, but then it requires a lot of time, to be honest. And it's also very interesting to work with intercultural people. Like we have colleagues from Cambodia, Malaysia, very, very diverse, but it's also very enriching to get in contact with them and share all these experiences. And especially if the project is finished. Gecko, for one, is finished, and we had a very good evaluation. That's why they're going for part 2. And it's also a challenge, no, to be able to contribute to a very good project, because the first step is, establishing this contact, this network, but then the other challenge is to finish it strong. So because given all the challenges of working across the world, no, remotely or in person, that is also the challenge, to make sure that you contribute positively to the project. So yes, ma'am, you need to ask your colleagues maybe if they know someone in Europe, because usually the ones in Europe would contact us. They would be the ones to lead the project, involve us, and assign us to certain tasks, give us like, okay, can you give us a background or a profile about your university, who will be able to, who would be involved in this project, if like it's a college or a department or something like that. Yeah.
So, ma'am, maybe you can help us direct with the right institution in Europe, which could actually
sure.
help.
MSU
Maguindanao.
Maguindanao. Okay. Okay.
Yes, I'm just going to add to what Ma'am Sheila shared. Actually, we found a lot of contacts when we attended the Erasmus Plus Global Conference. Yes. So I'm sure there's a schedule for next year. Yeah, there was one last year, and we joined that conference. It was virtual. So there were a lot of participants from the EU. And, if you see them there, they are more than willing to actually partner with institutions in the Philippines. So that's one way of finding a partner as well.
All right, thank you so much.
Finding the right fit, because some programs should work with these programs from abroad.
Yes.
So yeah. I think the deadline for next year is like around February, for all the projects, for next year. That's This time is they would start calling for applications, and then February would be the deadline. So you should take note of that.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so
You
much.
should join the antenna, ma'am.
Yeah, I have already joined the
Okay,
antenna
so
po.
I will see you next week then. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Other questions? Na-preempt na ang closing. None? Okay, so that's it, I think. Thank you very much. I hope this was helpful.
Okay, again, thank you very much for our attendees. Yeah, we still have some time to visit the booths online for our attendees online, and also for everyone who is here. You still have some time to visit the booths at level 2. So again, thank you for attending our presentation.